Okay, that wasn't supposed to have immediately gone live in the way that it did. Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. That was a little bit of a weird one, but it's good to have you all along. Today I thought we'd have a little bit of a discussion about some of the Leeds players that are on international duty. Have played a pretty damn high-profile game of football today, and it's not necessarily gone in the right direction for them, because Wales have been absolutely mullered by England in tonight's match, and it's not great for the Leedsy Wales players for a couple of reasons. One, because one of them was the goalkeeper. Two, the others were defensive players, but we'll get into that as things go along. We'll have a little bit of a natter. It's not going to be a super long one because I'm going to record a video after this. But yeah, it's worth a go. Full what up, baby zebra games? Full transparency as well. This might be a slightly last minute pop together stream idea, mainly because the initial plan was to do a Football Manager stream, because the rumour was that the Football Manager 2026 beta would be out today, with the idea being, cool, beta's out, I can do a stream on it, starting the save, and then we'll carry that through the international break. Issue is, it didn't come out, which is a problem when it comes to doing a stream on a game. You kind of need it to exist. The rumour is now that it'll be next Thursday, so I'm going to maybe do that as an alternative, but we will ultimately find out how that goes and the sort of general direction that we go in. But let's have a talk about the England versus Wales match, because I think it's kind of important. In which England absolutely just decimated the Welsh side. So they scored in the 3rd minute, which was the initial point where I was like, oh, this might not be a very close game of football. Then the 11th minute, at which point I went, oh, if they don't get this one under control, we could be seeing double figures. And then they scored the 3rd in the 20th minute, at which point things got a little bit spooky. When it comes to individual performances on the night from Leeds United's players, one of them very much surprised me in a very, very positive manner. And that one specifically was Joe Rodon, because Joe Rodon went into the match as a centre-back, expecting to face off against Morgan Rogers, Ollie Watkins, all those kind of guys, and he genuinely came out of that match looking reasonably good. So, checking SofaScore's ratings, I know SofaScore ratings you can't always trust, but they gave him a 7.1 out of 10, which is sort of astounding considering the players around him were on 6.2, 6.3, 6.4, those kind of numbers, a little bit stinky, but if you'll have a look into the underlying numbers, which I'm going to bring up now for you, there we go. Played the full 90, which is a pretty damn good sign. It shows that he's in fine fettle, he's not really running the risk of any injuries or anything. 7 clearances, which is massive, and it shows that that side was very much under the cosh for the entirety of that game of football. 3 shots blocked, which is, again, fantastic numbers to be putting up, especially when that is going to be a team that you are playing against that are just going to be pounding the net. If you're able to sort of minimise the amount of shots that actually get towards the goal, saving a lot of time and effort. Got an interception in, got a tackle in, lovely. Wasn't dribbled past a single time. But a lot of that will be the way that the Wales were defending, because Wales were sort of sitting very, very deep. Because they kind of had to, because they were forced into that position, which I'm not going to blame any of the Leeds players for that, because that's not their job. Rodon is a defender. Darlow is a goalkeeper. He can't really make sure that the team are higher up the pitch. Ampadu is a defensive midfielder who is effectively a defender a lot of the time. In terms of passing, managed to get 54 passes off, 50 of those accurate. 6 long balls, 3 of those accurate. You can't really complain too much about what Joe Rodon did in the match, because his performance was fairly solid. Look outside Joe Rodon and things were a little bit iffy. Carl Darlow, I don't think you could necessarily blame for any of the goals. The way that SofaScore ratings work for goalkeepers are a little bit broken, because it very... Oh, on the subject of a little bit broken, I've knacked it. I've bloody knacked it, lads. There we go, let's have a click, let's have a look at his numbers. Because the way that you sort of judge goalkeeper numbers rely on underlying data a lot of the time. So what is the sort of likelihood that a shot goes in? So XGA, expected goals against, or XGOT specifically, expected goals on target. So is a shot likely to go in? Is it not? You don't have that data for friendly matches, so it's a stab in the dark. As far as I could tell, Carl Darlow was basically fine. He did everything that you could reasonably ask him to do because he was basically under siege for the entire match, but made a couple of saves, conceded 3 times, but one of them was an absolute screamer from Saka. One of them was a tap-in from a cross, which, I'll be honest, Nico Williams is single-handedly responsible for that ball going in the back of the net, because his genius idea for positioning on the line when it comes to defending from a set piece is, I'm going to put myself directly between the path of the ball and the goalkeeper, and there's nothing you can do about it. And Carl Darlow, as much as I love the guy, can't dive through a person to get to the ball. That's not going to work. That one I'm going to put on Williams. The first one was a bit shit, but that's more the responsibility of Ben Davies, who doesn't get out to his man, and Rodgers is able to have a shot without any challenge, basically. Darlow, effectively, for me, blame 3. Blame 3? Blame free. That's the one, with an F. Then you get to Ampadu. And Ampadu did sort of okay. Didn't get on the ball too much, mainly because he didn't have the time that centre-backs have. Primarily because he was very much squeezed for a lot of the game, and I think when it came to the big batch of substitutions that Wales did on the 64th minute, that felt like a case of might as well protect some players, shall we? Sheehan, by the way, did sort of alright. By that point, England had calmed down a little bit, the game had opened up a touch more, it was less of a siege. But Ampadu himself was okay. Tried a couple long balls to get them out of those difficult situations. Neither worked out. Managed to block a shot. Won both of his ground duels, which you sort of want him to do. He's a defensive midfielder. That's kind of his job. Didn't win anything in the air, but lost possession a few times. Got a clearance in. Got a couple of tackles in. Got an interception in. They weren't the problem, to be honest with you. A lot of the problem came from the fact that anyone that does the progressive side of the game, so Brennan Johnson was one pretty good example of this, if I can find the number, where any time that they would get possession, which was fairly rare, they would either lose the ground duels, in this case Brennan Johnson didn't win one in the entire match, or they would just lose possession, or foul someone. In those dangerous areas, which is just inviting even more pressure onto yourself, and it's not fantastic, to be completely honest with you. Same sort of thing seemed to apply for Harry Wilson, who seemed fairly loose for a lot of the game. I want to see if my sort of theory in my head fits. Yeah, it was a struggle to get the ball to him in the first place because he didn't lose possession, to be fair to him. However, he lost both of his aerial duels and his only ground duel. So for me, this was a game of many a problem for the Wales side. And I don't think the problems were necessarily Leeds United's players, is where I'm going to sit on it. Craig Francis says the first 2 goals were soft, third goal brilliant. Other than that, as a Wales fan, I'm happy. The gap between Wales population's 3 million, England 60, can't complain. Yeah, I mean, that kind of makes sense. It's, even then though, it's sort of I'll have a look at what World Cup qualifications are looking like right now, because I don't know how comfy Wales are looking in their group. They're not, if I remember right. I think they're 3rd. But I can have a check. Scotland won as well. That was quite good. Which increases their chance of getting at least a playoff spot, but they're going to need to beat Denmark if they want to definitely qualify. It would be group... It's towards the bottom in it. It's the one with Belgium in it. As in the one with Belgium in it, rather than the one with Belgium in it. No. Right, so, North Macedonia have played 5, 11 points. Wales have played 5, 10 points. They're behind. Belgium played 4, 10 points. Belgium, we can assume, will potentially get something out of that game in hand, because I believe it's against one of Kazakhstan or Liechtenstein. Liechtenstein, there we go. And then it's about Wales getting results against North Macedonia and Belgium, because Kazakhstan and Liechtenstein are in that group to be beaten senseless. So one of the 3 of North Macedonia, Belgium, and Wales aren't going to make it. And you kind of got to hope that the team that don't make it is North Macedonia, because it's not going to be Belgium. Don't like rugby, one of a few who don't. Ooh. Why couldn't Farke Spence again? That would be because Jed Spence had a dog shit attitude to his responsibilities as a player at Leeds United. The number of times that people are kind of like, oh, well, why didn't we just play Jed Spence? Because he was a prick. Because it came to Christmas, he was asked to show up at a children's hospital, and he didn't. That's the bare minimum. And the fact that he just didn't bother is a little bit of a joke. And the fact that a lot of people are jumping to defend that is sad and a little bit pathetic. Don't be jumping all over a player who effectively did everything that he could to be not a positive part of that squad attitude. Purely because it suits your vibe of, I don't like Daniel Farke very much and he's gone elsewhere and been quite good. Sure, he might have gone somewhere else and been quite good, but A, he wasn't better than Archie Gray at the time, which is an achievement, to be fair, because Archie Gray was in his first actual season as a senior footballer. But B, that stinking attitude problem is a big part of why Jed Spence did not get along very well at Leeds United, and I will be honest, I don't mind it too much either, because the alternative, well, should we go up, right, in that season, because we've used Spence a little bit more. One, I think we've got a worse presence in that dressing room, which isn't what you want, because you want a good, positive vibe in the dressing room, don't you? 1 second, just need to check a thing. Cool. You want that nice, positive vibe in your dressing room, but also we don't get Bogle in that case. Yeah, well, you can say allegedly all you like, but it's in the same way that, like, O.J. Simpson allegedly did a murder. And it's like everyone is aware that this was a thing that happened, but it's so daft that people are trying to jump to back someone who wasn't a very positive aspect of the club in his time here. I don't know. Wilson for Wales, don't know why we wanted him. I think it's not the best of games to get an idea of Wilson's strengths, because the majority of that match was just England penning Wales in. And whilst I agree, Wilson could have done better, it felt like it was more of a structural thing. It felt like it was more of a, if none of the Wales team are looking to get forward, then there's not going to be anything that you can realistically do. And to be fair, Wilson's not been the best. So if we have a look at his matches so far this season, and I'm going to do the thing where I am going to take a look at the SofaScore ratings, because even though I don't necessarily like SofaScore, it's a thing that has a bunch of information on it. Well, it's not that I don't like SofaScore, it's that I don't think that their rating system is fantastic. But in the match against Brentford, manages to score a goal. Wonderful. Gets himself an 8.1 rating. Fantastic. Then plays against Aston Villa. Gets himself booked. 6.6 rating. Plays against Bournemouth. Loses 3-1. 6.5 rating. Didn't do enough. So it's one of those where I think it's hard to say how he would have done at Leeds had he come, but at the end of the day, he didn't. So England eased off in the second half. We got Latvia Tuesday evening. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, is Latvia a game that you need to have eased off for? Is a decent question to have. I would say probably no. But you know what? Screw it. If we've made the decision to ease off a little bit, we've made the decision to ease off a little bit. I think the very fact that Harry Kane didn't get on the pitch is a sign that this wasn't the match that England were paying that much attention to, because so far this season, Harry Kane has been ridiculous. If I go over to his numbers for the season so far, let's have a look. So far this season, he has played 6 matches in the Bundesliga, started all of them, and he scored 11 times. Which is a bit much. So I completely understand. Like, okay, he's started every single match in the Bundesliga. We can give him Wales off. Gap between Wales and England is massive. Wales bottom prem and championship players. England have a fantastic squad and should go far. I hope so, but it's also one of those where tonight I wasn't particularly bothered about how England do, because for all of these qualifiers, 90% of the time you know the way it's going to go, don't you? You approach it and you think, right, okay, so we're against Latvia who have done no damage at all to anybody in any qualification. Let's have a look at how they're actually doing rather than just sort of yapping. Yeah, there we go. They've won one game in the qualification phase so far, and I'm assuming it was against Andorra. Come out with 4 points in 5 matches. They've scored twice. So I'm looking at that and I'm kind of thinking, okay, so that's nice. But England are basically already done. Like, you get 8 matches in each, well, in the group phase for the group that England are in, because we've got 5 teams in there. We're currently 7 points clear of Albania, who are second. The fact that Albania might be qualifying through that group, or at least via the playoffs in that group, is insane, considering that England are the only team to have scored more than 1 goal per game. It becomes a little bit of a case of, why are we doing this? Because who have England actually got left to play? Right. Latvia, Serbia, Albania. Right. So we've done Andorra twice. That's good to know. We don't need to deal with that anymore. It's not that much of an issue, is it? Like, can we not qualify and then just like forfeit the remaining games and be like, we'll just do friendlies against like Brazil and then Argentina, and that'll give us a better idea of where we actually are. But to play against Albania, Serbia, Latvia is just right. Okay, we'll just trounce you, we'll trounce you, we'll trounce you, even though you've been incredibly racist, and move on. I just think World Cup qualification is one of the daftest things that exists in the world of football. Because although it's necessary, I think it's a bit clunky. And it means that you continue these international breaks a little bit too much. Wales never the same after Bale retired. I agree, to be completely honest with you. Like, the thing with Wales is they've always had that sort of weird ability to pull through one incredible footballer every 20 or 30 years or something like that. And then there'll be a gap of very little. Because whereas with England, you can see, okay, so if Saka drops out of the rotation, Anthony Gordon can step in, who might not be the same kind of level, but it's fine. If... Come on, brain. Bellingham is injured, like he is, chuck in Eze, chuck in Palmer, chuck in X, Y, Z, whoever. Which means that we've kind of got a really, really good spot there. Wales don't have that. Wales have, okay, so Bale's retired. Who takes his place? Harry Wilson. Fuck. That's the difference, I think. And that there's an argument that comes from the fact that the population is like 20 times smaller. But you'd think you'd get a little bit more through. And that confuses me a little bit. How many teams make it to the World Cup? And the thing as well is, like, Wales might have a population 20 times smaller. That does not explain the number of players in the Wales squad who are not Welsh. Carl Darlow, Dan James. Like, Jesus, it's nuts. Mark Hughes, Dean Saunders, Ryan Giggs, Gareth Bale. But the thing is, they don't tend to, like, overlap. And then if you look before that, you get to, like... I want to make sure that I'm not talking complete nonsense. There we go. You go before that, John Charles. But he didn't really have that much of a side around him, which... problems. Last Irish player to score versus England, Shane Long. Yeah, but you probably specifically remember that because, let's be honest, Ireland don't get the fun of scoring goals very often. You can probably remember every single Ireland goal in your lifetime, which is sort of an honour, I guess. Ireland, by the way, are in deep shit with their qualification group. remaining matches that they have is Portugal twice, including on Saturday. Then they get Armenia on Tuesday, which is a match that they lost, and they lost very, very soundly because of the power of Eduard Spurtjan. And then they get, in the next international break, Portugal, then Ireland. And this is a side that is currently at the very bottom of their qualifying group. So I think the hope for Ireland is basically gone if they don't beat Portugal. And if you've got Portugal down as a must-win, you're in trouble. Armenia, I think, are going to be fairly impressive. They've got Hungary on Saturday, which could be a fun one. 3 go through in groups as well in the World Cup. Yeah, it's not... I don't think it's 3 go through in every group. I think it's best third places for a lot of them. Hold on, let's go. World Cup 2026. And have a look at the format. Yeah, 48 teams. And then it's possible knockout stage based on ranking. Okay, so from the 12 groups, because it's going to be 12 groups of 4 teams per group, 8 third places go through, which means that from that point you've got 32 sides left, and the 32 sides will clash in what is basically the FA Cup without the third round. It's just the 4th round of the FA Cup onwards, which is a lot of games of football. I think the fact that you've got to do your 3 group stage matches and then 5 more games of football is a bit bonkers, and it feels very FIFA-like money to me. But which anyway, the Irish under-21s are doing well. Are they? I'm going to have to check that. Am I live or has it died? I don't know, because it told me that the internet died for a moment there. That's fun. We love to see it. World Cup dark horses Vietnam. Why do I have a feeling they've already failed to qualify? Yeah, I think they've already failed to qualify. So it's a good shout, but I don't think it works. Any West Ham players injured tonight? I don't know. To be honest, I haven't been keeping that close of an eye, even on the England versus Ireland match. So that one I can't particularly help you with. Can you see Bellamy going on to be a good league manager in time? I don't know, to be honest. It's such a different thing. They're 2 wildly different concepts that just do not bounce off each other. Like international management and club management, they don't mix too well, which makes it a little bit complex. Maybe, but I don't know enough to sort of make that shout. Hold on, I just need to make sure that something has... Cool, that's fine. Sorry. I've got a bunch of videos being recorded at the minute that I need to have not fully uploaded, and I saw one that had said it had been uploaded, so that's good. Basically, if in the next while there is a day that I don't upload something, there is a pretty significant chance that I have just recorded something and uploaded something you haven't seen yet. Because I'm working quite hard on things. Ireland under-21s, let's have a look. I love that you're like, Ireland's under-21s are doing quite well. They've beaten Moldova, and they've beaten Andorra. And they beat Andorra 1-0. And Moldova 2-1. And then before that, they lost 1-0 to Croatia. They beat Hungary, but then they lost to Scotland. Beat Sweden 3-2, but they lost to Sweden 2-0 before that. Where are England's under-21s in the group? In what group? What group? Oh, Euros qualifying. Okay, that's nice. You know you've played an extra game, right? That's a different thing, Arthur. I think he's talking about under-21s Euros qualifying, but that doesn't particularly work when England have played once and Ireland have played twice. No, you don't get to say still, bro. The two teams that you beat were Moldova and Andorra. Come on, come on, let's not get silly. Yeah, and we get to play Moldova tomorrow. So the fact that you're on exactly the same goal difference and we get to play against a team that we will probably absolutely pump tomorrow means that your game in hand goes away very, very quickly. And it looks fairly bad. So, you know what? Fine. I'll let you have this one. You can lord it over us until it swaps back over again. Because let's be honest, you need something sometimes, you know? So until about 7 o'clock tomorrow, I'll let you have it. Thought Ampadu was really quiet tonight. I think Ampadu's always best when either a team are in possession, because he does that sort of sitting in front of the centre backs kind of shebang, or when a team is dealing with transitional moments. There was very little in terms of transition tonight. It was significantly just a case of England will camp on the edge of the Welsh box, to which point Ampadu goes, fuck, okay, I'm effectively an extra centre back. Tanaka got dropped by Japan. How did he? Define dropped is what I'm going to say. Because he wasn't the most consistent starter for Japan anyway. Let's have a look. Japan squad. Playing tomorrow versus Slovakia, 3 easy points get in. That's brave considering Slovakia are at the top of the group. Wait, what time? That'd be an interesting one. Um, right, sort by new. I'm trying to find the Japan squad, but oh, thank you. Oh, I didn't do the thing. Hold on, I'll do the thing.
Smash the like, everyone.
Thank you very much, Colin. I appreciate that. And yeah, smash the like, everyone, or become a channel member if you fancy, and join the likes of Colin. I can't find this national squad announcement, which is a little bit of a shame. So I'm gonna have to go to Twitter, aren't I? Japan, football. Japanese Football Association's English page. Under 16 national team. Under 17s. No, I don't. Okay, I found it. Why are we saying that Tanaka got dropped? Because they're not playing till like 11 a.m. tomorrow. Because he's in the squad. It's a bit of a weird one. Like, I don't know if he'll start, but I'll be honest, I'm not that bothered if he doesn't start. Like, that's fine. That's going to happen sometimes. Ain't always going to be starting. We just missed out by a point to Italy in the 21s World Cup qualifier. The whole thing with having to be 17, I think, for Irish players to go to England has killed their development. But at the same time, like, the Irish squad has always sort of depended on who are your grandparents when it comes to good English players. So I don't think you can be that mad, to be honest with you. I don't know. But yeah, 7:30 means that we get half an hour of being in front of you in the group, assuming you manage to beat Slovakia. But that's not exactly looking promising. Let's be completely honest with each other here. Don't see Vegeta in the squad. Tanaka is there. We need to go after Vegeta. Who is what? Okie dokie, Arthur. I shall see you later. Plays for St. Pauli. He's literally just moved to St. Pauli from St. Truden, which feels unlikely. But I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I'm going to bring the stream to a close in a moment. It was only going to be a relatively quick one because I've got a video to record after this and upload and all that kind of stuff. On that note, if you're a channel member like Colin, you'll be able to see that video as soon as I've basically recorded it, which I think would be quite nice. So if you fancy, pop a like on the stream, subscribe if you're not yet, become a channel member, all that kind of fun stuff. Roy Keane, Ian Hart, Gary Kelly, Robbie Kane, Shay Gowen, Steve Staunton, Richard Dunn, all Irish now. Okay, cool. They might be Irish. However, Declan Rice and Jack Grealish definitely aren't. But they're your best players at the moment. Anyway, I've got a dip. I hope you all enjoyed the stream. Like, subscribe, become a channel member, all that kind of stuff. And I will see you all later. Toodaloo.